Hello student, currently we are learning the lectures from the Principles and Art of Cure by Homeopathy written by Dr. H. A. Robert. In last lecture we learned the chapter number 3rd, in which Dr. H. A. Robert introduced the concept of vital force. In last lecture we learned what is the need of understanding the concept of vital force while practicing the medicine according to the principle of homeopathy. In previous lecture we learned that Dr. Hahnemann introduced the concept of vital force or the role of vital force in aphorism number 9, isn't it? And it is the first introduction of the vital force to the medical world, and it is a rational concept of life and he explained the dynamic aspect of the life, because body is not only the material body only not functioning properly, and there is no function, no movement or no life without vital force or without the spirit, and therefore life is nothing but it is a trinity of material body, spirit like vital force as well as mind, and this trinity is always present in all life. Yes, whenever there is life there is this trinity, and this trinity, that is the material body, mind and soul, spirit, it maintains all sensation and function of the body. This vital energy pervades the whole material body, and whenever we are in a state of health we enjoy life. In aphorism number 9, Hahnemann explained the qualities of vital force, that is it is automatic, that is self-motive, autocratic, that is it is a self-energetic, dynamism, that means an immaterial substance of qualitative existence or of a qualitative action, and whenever there is life there is growth, isn't it? And this life is this pervades each and every particle or every atom of this material organism. No organ, no tissue, no cell, no molecule is independent of the activities of the others, but the life of each one of these elements is merged into the life of the whole. That every particle of the human being or cell of the human being, there is a existence of life, otherwise there is no function, no sensation. And here he gives the example of this autocratic energy. Whenever there is the union of these two live cells, the cell which are live, that is a unicellular cell, that is the ovum and sperm, and whenever there is this union of both cells, the next independent life is developed, and whenever these sperm or ovum are live, then only there is a fertilization occurred, and from this zygote, from this union of this unicellular, there is a life is started and there is growth, isn't it? And whenever the life principle is present, whenever the life principle present in living human being, it is responsible for growth, isn't it? Therefore there is as there is existence of life energy in this fertilized ovum, or you can say zygote, there is growth, development and function of each and every cell, and then it is responsible for the development of tissue and organ by producing the three germinal layer, isn't it? And in fact, a living human being is nothing but the product of fertilized ovum, isn't it? Animated and regulated by a dynamics, that is a life principle or vital principle. And therefore, whenever this full term baby live the separate life or individual life, then this whole the quality of the vital principle is continue, and there is growth, isn't it? And there is a development, and this power to develop muscle, nerve, brain cell, individual in themselves gifted with the powers for specialized use of in the future. Yes, it is a essential nature of the vital force, isn't it? Then and therefore Hanuman told you that you should not deny this life force, life energy whenever you think about the human being. This without this vital energy, the cell or the whole body becomes inanimated and is dead. Yes, in last lecture we also see that every individual is differ from each other because of their specific chromosomal pattern, isn't it? And therefore the growth and development of each individual progress as it draws upon the physical energy, upon the dynamic energy. Physical energy, it is the environmental factors which affect is dynamic energy, and as it is manifest in the brain and upon the spiritual energy, and therefore it is as responsible is in life, health and disease process also, because it is responsible for developing a different type of personality. Have you got this? And this energy is responsible for development of growth for the whole economy and as an individual one. These different type of personalities are developed because of only the vital energy. Yes, whenever the energy function improperly, there is a greater growth on one plane than on another, and the personality not symmetrical in its development. Yes, the flow of the energy should be is harmoniously or in a proper way. If there is any hurdle or there is any obstruction, then the growth or development is not become symmetrical, and therefore the problems occur at the basic level. And therefore this because the nature of the energy is dynamic, and this dynamics penetrates every particle. Yes, this qualitative action of this vital energy which penetrates every particle, every cell and every atom of the human economy. And whenever there is a disturbance of this vital force or vital energy, result in a disfigured or disturbed development of the whole human economy. And yes, whenever there is a disturbance of this vital energy, it resulted into the asymmetrical growth, and it disturbed the development of the whole human economy as well as the development of the disease also. And here he explains this obstruction in the flow of vital energy, or there is a disturbance in the vital energy in the life of the parent cell, and this parental cell also carry forward this deep impression at the level of the cell. It carry forward and it becomes hereditary stigma, isn't it? And this hereditary stigma resulted, which is he called it is a indelible brand. That is, it is not a remove, it is not washable, it is a permanent stigma. The wrapping of this dynamic energy is a stain that will not out. Yes, you can't remove this stigma from the parental cell, which continue to develop into the their life of their children. And here also give the example, whenever there is any bad effect of the fear, fright or any other emotional strain, stress, tension occur during the whenever this lady is pregnant, and this is give the deep impression to the development of the fetus and also the mental condition of the fetus. Sometimes, and whenever this while nursing also, whatever is the emotions of the mother is there, it is or the mother vital force may be disturbed by worries or by sudden fright, and she herself may suffer from the consequent serious disturbances. Yes, this carry forward to his child, isn't it? And these consequences occur in his future life, because the cell or this vital energy which pervade whole organism, and this incidence is not wash out by the cell, but there is a deep impression occurred. Yes, in last lecture we finish with the influence of the vital force on the whole organism is so delicately adjusted and so intimately connected with every part that seemingly distant organ or unrelated symptoms show the effect of any disturbance of the vital force, and no one can prophesy what the influence may be on the part of the economy or what direction will be taken by the manifestation in each individual, but his vital energy will direct the course of his unerring precision. Yes, this the influence of the vital force on the whole organism is delicately adjusted. Yes, in order to keep the existence of life, the vital force adjusts itself by producing various other changes at the biochemical level, biophysiological level, and make the adjustment with the any adverse situation or circumstances so intimately that these all changes which occur at the physiological level, these are all directly connected. Intimately means it is directly connected with the every part. Yes, there is an influence of this adverse situation or any adverse condition for which influence which create the influence of the human being. This directly related to every part, every whole organism is under this influence of this adverse situation. Not only the whole organism, but each and every cell of the organism under the influence of this adverse situation, and therefore that seemingly distant organs or unrelated symptoms show the effect of any disturbance of the vital force. Yes, therefore according to their miasmatic pattern, according to their diathesis or according to their susceptibility, these disturbed vital energy manifested outwardly in form of symptom which occur at the various other part, various other organ. No one can prophesy, that means no one can predict. Prophecy means predict what the influence may be on the part of the economy. No one can predict where the symptom might be occurred, what direction will be taken by the manifestation in each individual. Yes, according to this individuality and the personality of the patient, there is some weakness of certain organ, and this weak organ get influenced by this disturbed vital energy and suffer and produces symptom. But his vital energy will direct the course with unerring precision. Unerring means without any mistake, and it is very clear that whenever there is a precision means it is clear. It is very clear that whenever there is a disturbance of the or the derangement of the vital force or vital energy, it is manifested outwardly in form of various sign and symptom. Yes, have you got it? Yes, let us take the next paragraph. The appearance of these disturbances in a reflection of the inward turmoil and confusion of the harmonious action which the vital force has suffered. Yes, this appearance of this disturbance is a reflection of the inward turmoil. Yes, whenever there is a derangement of the vital force, the internal man get deranged by the dynamic disease force. There is a turmoil. Turmoil means it is a state of a great disturbance or confusion. Whatever is the derangement occur at the level of vital energy, it reflected outwardly, isn't it? Why it is reflected outwardly? Whatever is the derangement occurred by the disease force, the confusion of the harmonious action. Yes, there is a, which is this derangement of the vital force resulted into the derangement or the disturbance of the harmonious sensation and function. That is, the harmonious action of the vital force has suffered, and therefore there is a manifestation of the symptom outwardly, the reflection of this disturbed vital force outwardly in form of sign and symptom. This brings us to the point where we must acknowledge that disturbance of any part is the manifestation of the inner disturbance. Yes, whenever we observe that someone complain regarding the any abnormal sensation and function or any painful condition which is located in a certain part, that means the disease is not located into that particular organ or particular system or particular part, while the whole organism is get disturbed. There is a disturbance of the vital force or vital energy, and therefore the whole economy under the influence of this adverse situation get influenced by the dynamic morbid force, and therefore there is a derangement of the vital force and which is located in the particular part, and therefore disturbance of any part means it is not restricted to that particular part, while the whole organism, or it is a indication that the whole organism is affected by these morbid influences, isn't it? Only the part is not diseased, but the whole organism is now diseased, and it is not a local confusion of certain muscles or a certain group of nerves. Yes, then the disease is not restricted to certain organ or certain system, or it is not a localized local malady or arteries or even of the mind itself, but that is an expression of the whole disturbance manifesting itself perhaps locally or in seemingly unrelated parts. It is an expression of the disturbed vital energy. Yes, any manifestation of the symptom, whether at the local level or whether at the mental plane also, it is a indication or the expression of the disturbed vital energy, and is a manifestation of a man as a unit. Yes, man is as a unit means it is a man as a whole. It is not classified or differentiated into different system or organ. Man is not a different organ or system, but it is a unit as a whole and not of the separate parts of his body. That brings us to the point of looking upon disease as a dynamic expression of the disturb of the harmony and rhythm of the vital energy. Yes, there is all the sensation and functions are carried out in a harmonious way. The harmony is maintained. There is a cooperation and coordination of all system, all organ, all tissues, and each and every cell. Whenever all these every cell work out in a harmonious way, whenever the homeostasis is maintained, that is it is a rhythm of vital energy. That means it is the rhythm which in the coordination of with the nature. This rhythm is maintained whenever the person is in a healthy state. All sensation and functions carried out in a rhythmic way, in a harmonious way. While whenever it get disturbed, whenever there is a disturbance, it resulted into the disturbance of the harmony and the rhythm of the vital force and vital energy, and therefore there is a outward manifestation, or there is this alteration in sensation and functions. These all get affected, and there is a manifestation of symptom. There is no sensation of ease. Person cannot enjoy his life energetically because there is a disturbance in the flow of vital energy. That rhythm may be so disturbed as to increase the pace or to lower the vitality. Yes, this rhythm is so disturbed. That means the rhythm is so disturbed, the pace means it is a rate of movement which the sensation and function, the rhythm may be so disturbed as to increase the pace, whatever is the disturbance of the vital energy, it resulted into the exaggerated movement or exaggerated change, or you can say hyperfunction or hypofunction. It is not a predicted how the individual react to the particular morbid force, but it is a sign of the disturbance of the rhythm which corresponding with the nature. Thus the rhythm may be so disturbed as to increase the pace or lower the vitality. Yes, whenever this rate of movement or the change is so much increased that it totally or it the tune or it is the sensation, or you can say the function of this vital force is to tune up with the external environment. It get lower the vitality, and that in itself either raises or lowers the reaction of the body. Yes, it is a, I am already told you that there is a hyperfunction or hypofunction and of the mind and of the spirit. They are all united under the supreme mastery of the vital energy. Yes, as there is disease, it not means that there is death or there is a departure of the vital force from this material body, while in spite of there is a derangement of the vital force carried out all other physiological action, but in a disturbed the whole rhythm is get disturbed, and therefore there is a alteration in the sensation and function. It is totally disturbed the harmony in sensation and function, isn't it? And these are all, that is the vital force in the under the influence of disease condition also, they all united. Yes, this all united, the disease mind, disease the deranged vital force, disease mind, and also the disease body, these are all united under the supreme mastery of the vital energy. The function the whole individual is function now as in a disease state. Let us take the next paragraph. In treating disease, we are drawing also upon another storehouse of dynamic force. Yes, if you want to treat our patient, if you correct the disturbance of the vital energy, you must apply the same force or at the same type of force to correct the disturbances. And as the nature of the vital force is dynamic, you have to apply the dynamic force of the medicine, and therefore the it is called the upon the another storehouse of dynamic force, which acts almost synchronously with the disturbed vital force. Synchronously means it is going on at the same rate or exactly together. Yes, it is not mean the disease is somewhere and the medicine act at somewhere. It is not a relationship of the medicine with the contraries, while it is the similia similibus, and then only it is act with synchronously, work together with the disturbed vital force, and that is in the body. The pace is similar. That means this whatever is the dynamic force you are going to apply in disease condition, the pace is similar. That means the rate of movement is the similar, the symptoms are similar, we are dealing with the similar remedy. Yes, this treatment or the cure of the disease is only occur with the application of the similar remedy, which has the same which has the ability to produce the similar type of symptom, and the pace is also similar. The rate of reaction or the action of the remedy is always the similar as of the natural disease. This similar remedy has only the capacity to cure the disease, because it acts synchronously with the disturbed vital force. This synchronous action is very important. It should not be in opposite way. Dr. Boger illustrates this by the picture of the runway train, where an engine is sent not in the opposite direction to meet and combat force with force, but in the same direction, increasing in pace until it is equal in pace to the runway, and it is then in a position to subdue its speed. Here Dr. Boger gives the example of the train on runway. Whenever you combat the speed of the another train, then the direction is not the opposite way, isn't it? But the train should be run at the same pace or according to the same speed, you can say. Here let us understand, the one train is going on this side, this direction, and another train is exactly on the opposite direction, isn't it? This train run in its own capacity and on his own speed, and it has its own characteristic feature, isn't it? While this train which run on the opposite direction, similarly it is a natural disease and this is the artificial disease, exactly opposite, which create the exact opposite symptom. Then this train never conquer the natural disease. This train never conquer this speed of this train, isn't it? The example is, it is a natural disease and it is artificial disease. Whenever the artificial disease run oppositely, it never conquer the natural disease. Whereas this is the picture of the another train which it is a natural disease which already running on a runway, and this is it is a natural disease which is already existed in the organism, and this is the example of the similar remedy. The similarity is there, and this similar remedy only, or this similar train, you can say, this artificial the speed is there and it is running in the same direction, this train running in the same direction, then this train able to combat or able to conquer the speed of this natural disease, isn't it? Therefore the remedy which act oppositely never cure the disease, while the remedy which is similar with the speed of the natural disease is always resulted into cure. Have you got this? These, and therefore Boger illustrate that this is by the picture of the runway train where an engine is sent not in the opposite direction to meet and combat force with force, but in the same direction, increasing in pace. Whenever this train run on the same direction with greater speed, that is a stronger disease, artificial disease is created, then only it remove the natural one. It is the same direction increasing in pace until it is equal in pace to the runway, and it is then in a position to subdue its speed. Yes, subdue, it is a being under control. You can say quiescent or cure. Have you got this example of the art? It is a law of contraria and it is a law of similia. Let us take the next paragraph. Disease symptoms show themselves in unified order in the physical, the mental and the spiritual sphere. But each individual does not show necessarily disturbance in all these spheres in manifesting condition. Yes, disease symptoms themselves unified order. Unified means it is a unitedly, uniformly. This disease symptom shows themselves in very or unitedly order in the physical, mental and the spiritual sphere. Yes, every sphere there is the symptoms are appeared, but each individual does not show necessarily disturbance in all these sphere is manifesting disease condition. But in some individual it is not necessary to express the symptom or only symptom on all these three sphere, but it is a nature's law that first there is a disturbance at the spiritual level, it affect, or there is a manifestation at the mental level, then on the physical, and lastly at the particular level. Here he gives the example of insane person. 1. The insane may accentuate the mental, one the physical and one the criminal. Yes, in insane person this disease is accentuated. Accentuated means it is a obvious or it is a prominent, make more noticeable. These in insane there is a more noticeable symptom at the mental level. Some person exhibited the symptom at the physical level only, and one the criminal, that is it is at the spiritual level. The disturbance of the spiritual forces, each in accentuated according to the tendencies. Yes, you can say it is a type of one-sided disease. Whenever the disease is concentrated in a particular plane or particular organ or localized in a particular part, each is accentuated according to the tendencies of the vital energy. Yes, it is become obvious or it become prominent according to the tendencies of the vital energy and the individual reaction to the dynamic disturbance. Any disturbance of this vital energy immediately shows itself in lack of harmony through the outward manifestation of our beings. In other words, symptom. Yes, we previously learned that the internal derangement of the vital force manifested outwardly in form of symptom. When harmonious functioning is disturbed, we get sickness as a result, and it has as its base and inception this lack of harmony in the flow of vital energy through the body. Yes, when this harmonious functioning is disturbed, yes, vital forces act harmoniously, the coordination and cooperation of the each and every system, each and every cell, and whenever there is a disturbance of this vital energy, there is a lack of harmony, and this harmonious sensation get disturbed, and we get sickness in the result. There is an alteration in the sensation and function. It is a and inception. Inception means beginning of something. Yes, it is the beginning of something, this lack of harmony in the flow of the vital energy through the body. Yes, the result of the sickness is nothing but the beginning of the lack of harmony in the flow of vital energy throughout the body. Yes, there is a disturbances or some type of hurdles occur in the flow of vital energy. This is manifest in disease as it naturally develop because of disturbed vital force, and it develop also in disturbed vital force from the proving of remedies. Yes, this whenever these disturbance occur naturally in the flow of vital energy because of any adverse situation, the same thing happen whenever we are going to prove the remedies on healthy human being. In condition of healthy human being, all the sensation and functions are carried out in a harmonious way, while by the administration of the remedy to the healthy person, this act or it disturbs the flow of vital energy and disturb the, or it is a beginning of the, or you can say it is disturb the harmonious sensation and function of the vital force, and it is initiation of the manifestation of symptom, but in an artificial way in the proving of remedy, showing the action of remedies and the very nature of the remedies themselves. Yes, the various remedy according to their nature or according to their drug energy, they, and whenever they meet with the different type of constitution, different type of individual, they produces different type of symptom in different individual. This is the reason why the remedies are potentized, so that they may reach more surely the vital energy of the individual. Yes, because as the vital force is, it is a energy and it is spiritual and dynamic in nature, our drug must be, our remedies should be the spiritual dynamic in nature, and it is only possible by the process of potentization. Every one of you know the process of potentization. As the quality of the quantity of the medicine get reduced while the quality goes on increasing, it reach perfectly at the plane of vital force and it react with the vital energy and produce the similar artificial but stronger disease and make free this vital energy from the influence of the natural disease force. Where they not in potential form, they would not reach the vital energy as promptly and directly. If the medicine are not potentized one, that is if the crude medicine you apply for the point of cure, this crude medicine, or because of the crudeness of the dose, these are the, it is called the material dose also, isn't it? And which this material dose has the physiological action or pathophysiological action on the body, but it is because it is this every crude drug substance has a biochemical in nature, and it reacts directly on the body or the material body. But here by the process of potentization, the quantity goes on decreasing. That means the crudeness of the drug is not there, not a material, the drug is not at the material level, while only it is a dynamic in nature, isn't it? Only the drug energy is react with the vital energy, that is the vital energy and the drug energy at the same plane. Where they not in potential form, they would not reach the vital energy as promptly and directly, and it is a question whether they would not be in a toxic form which would destroy or subvert the vital energy without showing the proper symptomatology. If the sources of the drug is or the various sources of the drug from plant or animal kingdom or the mineral kingdom, most of the drug substances are toxic in nature, and whenever we apply this toxic medicine in a crude form, because of this biochemical action or physiological action on the cell, it is disturb the vital energy and and show the toxic effect on the body because of the crudeness of the doses, and therefore you have to potentize your medicine. Otherwise, because of the toxicity, it will destroy or subvert the vital energy. Because of the crudeness of the doses, it is the overpower the vital energy and not showing the proper symptomatology, while there is a total destruction of the vital force, that means the body. The best proving that we have showing the finer differentiations and most pronounced reaction. Yes, the best proving is under the higher potencies, with the higher potencies, because it is directly act with the vital force of the prover without showing any toxic effect on prover, are made from the potencies from the 30th upward, because it is in this form that they more readily meet the vital energy as it pervades the whole organism. Yes, this very finest form of the vital force which remain at the cellular level, and this pervade the whole organism. This vital energy of this or this potentized drug reach to the vital force of the organism, and they create reaction that are not capable of being produced in the crude exhibition. Yes, this type of reaction at the dynamic plane or reaction with the vital force is not occurred because of the crude medicine, which is largely toxic. Yes, because of the crudeness, it is a toxic in nature. The action of the proven remedy is similar to the action of the disease from whatever source. Yes, action of the proven remedy is similar. Yes, whenever we prescribe the proven remedy, that whose pathogenetic action, we all get acquainted with the pathogenetic action of the medicine, and whenever we apply this remedy according to the law of similia, then it has very predetermined action as equal to the action of the disease force. जसं डिसीज फोर्स त्या ह्युमन बिंगवर ॲक्ट होईल, तसाच हा जी आपण मेडिसिन होमिओपॅथिक प्रूव्हन रेमेडी ज्याला सिलेक्ट करणार आहे सिमिलर रेमेडी, तशीच ती पण ॲक्शन करेल. Disease first must be caused by a disturbance of the vital energy. Yes, disease is caused by the disturbance in the vital energy, and that in itself set a motion a train of symptom exhibiting an exact picture of the way in which the vital energy is disturbed. Yes, as this disease force derails the vital force and a train of symptoms is manifested outwardly. By assessing this symptom similarity, which remedy we are going to select to that particular individual patient, this remedy also has a pathogenetic action, or the remedy has the ability to produce the similar type of symptom in that particular individual. It is only from this picture that we can gather the understanding of the inner working of the sick individual. It is only through the careful observation of the proving of the potencies that we can know the action of any given remedy, to understand where it has made its impress on the vital force. And in the process of in the experiment of drug proving also, we are able to know the pathogenetic action or the disease producing power of the each and every remedy, isn't it? We are well acquainted with the action of this potentized remedy, and that means you have enough knowledge of materia medica. The vital force is resilient, and impressions not only show forth promptly but over a considerable period of time and in orderly groups of symptoms, even as those natural disease. That is, the vital force is resilient. Resilient means It is recover quickly from difficulty. Resilient means it is the recover quickly from difficulty. Whatever is the difficulty of vital force, it get deranged because of the disease force, isn't it? And therefore the organism could not able to rejoice his health. As there is a disturbance in the vital energy, vital force, it is the harmonious sensation and functions get disturbed. Have you got this? This vital force, by the application of the similar remedy, recover quickly from the difficulty. That means whatever is the derangement occur because of the disease force, this is by the administration of the similar remedy, the similar but stronger disease produce, which nullify or remove the original disease, natural disease, and vital force get free from the load of natural disease, and impression not only show forth promptly but over a considerable period of time and in orderly group of symptoms. Yes, then the recovery, the cure is established and the symptoms are disappear in a specific order, even as does natural disease. जसं नॅचरल डिसीज मध्ये सिम्पटम आले होते, ज्या ऑर्डरनी आले होते त्याच्याच रिव्हर्स ऑर्डर मध्ये आता ते डिसअपियर पण व्हायला लागतात. इन ऑर्गॅनो इन द aphorism number 10, the material organism without the vital force is capable of no sensation, no function, no self-preservation. It derives all sensation and performs all the function of the life solely by means of the immaterial being, the vital force, which animates the material organism in health and in disease. Yes, it is. As there is a role of vital force in health, there is a role of vital force in disease also. There is no departure of the vital force from the sick body, and because the material organism without vital force is no capable of no sensation, there is no sensation, no function, and no self-preservation. As soon as there is a departure of this vital force from the material body, it is a dead body. Now it is a part of this immaterial world, and there is no self-preservation, and we immediately try to dispose this body because there is start the decomposition, disintegration of this body because the vital force has capacity, or this vital force is only the force which preserves the body. As there is a departure, there is no sensation, no function, and no self-preservation. But these functions, sensation, function, self-preservation, these occur in the health as well as in disease condition also. Let us see next aphorism number 11. When a person falls ill, it is only this spiritual, self-acting, automatic vital force everywhere present in the organism that is primarily deranged by the dynamic influence upon it of a morbific agent inimical to the life. Inimical means it is the enemy like relationship of this morbific, that is a disease force, to the vital force, and it is primarily deranged because of the dynamic morbid force. It is only the vital force deranged to such an abnormal state that can furnish the organism with its disagreeable sensation and incline to the irregular process which we call disease. Yes, there is because of the derangement of the vital force, there is a disturbance of the harmonious sensation and function, alteration in the sensation and function, and all the sensation get altered, and the irregular process of the sensation and function because of the derangement of the vital force, which manifest outwardly in form of symptom. For as a power invisible in itself and only cognizable by its effect on the organism. Yes, whatever is a phenomena occur, it is totally invisible in nature, but we can't describe it according to our sense organ, isn't it? It is very fine and subtle. That's why we cannot observe it through our sense organ. Its morbid derangement only makes itself known by the manifestation of disease in the sensation and function. Yes, but this derangement we only see by the outward manifestation of the sign and symptom of those part of the organism exposed to the senses of the observer and physician, that is by the morbid symptom, and is no other way we can make itself known. Yes, there is a only way to know the derangement of the vital force or the deviation of the vital force from the healthy state to disease state. The only agency is the symptom. Here we observe this, it is a health. Yes, we observe health, and in a glance we can observe that it is not a normal development. Yes, it is disease. That means the outward manifestation see that there is health, and this outward manifestation of the symptom indicate that the derangement of the vital force. This brings us to a consideration of the unhampered expression of the vital force and its influence in disease and cure. As we have seen, its expression reflects the exact symptom of the disturbance. One of the easiest methods of dealing with sickness is to give medicines or mechanical treatment which put a stop to the symptom. Yes, the easiest way to remove the sickness is the give medicines. This dynamic medicine, the dynamic remedies you have to apply for the removal of this disease force, or mechanical treatment. Mechanical, whenever there is a obstruction because of any external means, isn't it? There is a some because of some accident, or whenever the cases of the suspended animation, this mechanical treatment you have to provide in order to save the life of the patient. Therefore, the dealing with the sickness to the medicine or mechanical treatment which put a stop to the symptom. However, this is more apt to further upset the vital force by suppressing the individual expression of the disordered vital energy. Anything that disturbs the normal expression of disturbed harmony simply adds to the disturbance that is already in existence, and is a confusion worse confounded, for it suppresses or distort the manifestation of the disease state. Yet what happened? Anything that disturbs the normal expression of disturbed harmony simply add to the disturbance that is already in existence. Yes, what do you mean by that? Because of the derangement of the vital force by the spiritual or dynamic morbid force, there is already disturbances occurred in a normal expression. Anything that disturbs the normal expression of disturbed harmony now simply add to the disturbance by the suppressive method we disturb the disturbed harmony, isn't it? This disturbed harmony which is settled by the nature, it is only the outward manifestation of the symptom, and that is, it is a from center to periphery there is a elimination of this, or it is a direction of the vital energy, that is a from center to symptoms appear, or the disturbance from the center to periphery. But while you suppress this with the suppressive medicine, that means you push the outward manifestation inward, isn't it? And it disturbs the process of nature. नेचरची प्रोसेस काय आहे की जे काही त्याचं डिरेंजमेंट झालेलं आहे ते इंटरनल मॅनचं ते बाहेर एक्सप्रेस करणं, आणि आपल्या सप्रेसिव्ह ट्रीटमेंटमुळे काय होतं आहे की ते जे बाहेर मॅनिफेस्टेशन आहे आपण त्यांना आत पुश करण्याचा प्रयत्न करतात. मग तो काय करेल की ऑलरेडीच व्हायटल फोर्स इज डिरेंज अँड बिकॉज ऑफ सच टाइप ऑफ सप्रेसिव्ह ट्रीटमेंट द फोर्सफुल suppression of the symptom inwardly the distort the manifestation of the disease state. ऑलरेडी जी डिसीज स्टेट डिस्टर्ब झालेली आहे डिसीजमुळे ते आणखी जास्त डिस्टर्ब होईल. आणि हे जे सप्रेशन असतं हे आपण खूपदा होतं in order to remove the symptom by the suppressive method. This may be done in many ways. It may be done by sprays. Yes, this whenever we apply or the external manifestation you try to treat with the externally, it may be by spray, it may be done by ointment, it may be done by irritative or narcotic treatment. Yes, all this type of treatment we try to suppress the outward manifestation of the disease and push the disease internal level. Whatever is done that interfere with the expression of the disturbance. Yes, whatever is the disturbance occur already while it quiescent the internal problem by the external manifestation. While this external manifestation we try to suppress with the medication, external medication, and this disturbance which is already more disturbed, the more disturbed state, it is manifested by the symptomatology of the patient added manifold to our trouble. And that's for whatever is the disease is the complication occurred, the disease force is quiescent by the manifestation of the symptom in the least important organ. Now because of the suppressive treatment or method, the most important organ get captured and disease become complicated and patient adds many folds of our troubles. The altered character or entire suppression of discharge, the suppression of eruption, the palliation of pain by narcotics, the momentary invigoration of by tonics, these are among our problem. Yes, this is the example of the treatment by allopathic method. The altered character, the whatever is the why there is a onset of the discharge, because all the toxicity or is all the impurity which is created during the disease process, it is eliminated through the discharge, and until and that the discharge is there, the all internal organ would be safe, isn't it? If we try to suppress the discharge or suppress the eruption, this forcefully you this enter and capture the vital organ, or the palliation of the pain by narcotics. Yes, these narcotics act on the central nervous system and there is the nerve get benumb and there is no sensation of pain, but it is a very transient action. Until and until this action of the narcotic is there is no pain, and because of this primary action of the narcotics, while as soon as the primary action is finished, there is a reappearance of the pain and there is a bombarding of these narcotics in order to relieve the pain. Definitely it causes the function of the nervous system, and therefore the palliation of the pain by narcotics, momentary invigoration by tonic. Invigoration means giving strength or energy. You give the strength and energy while by the tonics, but it is a momentary, it is a very transient in nature. These are among our problem. The injection in gonorrhea, for instance, may suppress the discharge. Yes, you know the primary manifestation of the gonorrhea is in form of this thick mucopurulent discharge from urethra, and this discharge, as it is not, or the nature of the disease is not understood by the physician, they try to suppress this discharge by injection, strong injection, but the effect is throw the whole vital energy out of balance more markedly. But until and until this discharge is there, the internal organs are safe. But whenever, because of the suppressive treatment of the gonorrhea is there, it is totally disturb the vital energy out of balance and more markedly, and very important organ get involved than before, and we get all kinds of manifestation in distant and seemingly unrelated organs as a result. And because of this suppressive treatment, the various other organ which are basically not related with the infection of gonorrhea, like brain, liver and all other important organ get involved. Suppression is the easiest and greatest of the error that can be practiced by any graduate in medicine. Yes, it is a problem. Why, or nowadays why such type of very complicated diseases are observed? Because during our routine practice, the practice is only suppress the disease, not the cure or treat according to the law of nature, while there is only the suppression. And because of the suppression, it totally disturb the eliminating process of nature, and the disease force from periphery to center, it gets suppressed. The symptom get suppressed from periphery to, and it captures the most important organ. And therefore, H. Robert told you that suppression is the easiest and greatest of the error that can be practiced by any graduate medicine. Yes, any graduate in medicine, it is allied science, it is not a practice. It is not expected from the homeopathic physician, while in routinely this physician applied the suppressive method, which is the greatest error, and therefore the most complicated diseases are created. Have you got this? Okay, here we finish the this lecture, third lecture of from H. Robert philosophy, that is a vital force. Here is the questionnaire is given by vital force, and it is, if you try to solve it, it is an indication that how you understand this lecture. Okay, thank you.